Constantine, do you want us to all put our character name first if we haven't? Because I know you gave that direction, but
Yeah, if people are able to put their character name and it's not too complicated for you, go ahead. It's helpful. But okay, let's see.
I don't know how to do that.
If it's complicated, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to read the scene directions. Episode 1, The Odyssey. Black screen. Voices of very young children going to bed can be heard. A little boy and a little girl. Their father, who speaks with a heavy Greek accent, is putting them to bed.
Baba, read us a book.
I don't read in English.
Okay, then tell us a story.
What kind of a story?
Can you tell us about I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry.
Kyklopas.
Clopas. Again?
Kyklopas. You want to hear about Kyklopas?
Yeah.
Many years ago in Greece, there was a man named Odysseus. Odysseus was very, very smart because he was a Greek. He coming from the island of Ithaki in Greece. Ithaki is a Greek island, Costa MVP. You should be proud. Anyway, he going to a war with the Trojan because he's smart, they winning the war. But after there was a bad storm and he and his men were on an island. And
is that when they found the Kyklopas?
No, not yet. They're finding a cave. And inside the cave, they found cheese and bread, so at least they can eating something. They also had lots of wine from the boat. So a big giant monster with one eye coming inside and finding them eating Costa. He was very mad.
What did he do, Baba? Is the story scary?
So the monster with one eye, his name is Kyklopas, he eating one of Odysseus' man.
He ate him? Yes, but the best part is next.
So Odysseus saying to him, why are you doing this to us? The Kyklopas saying, because you ate my food. So then the Kyklopas asking all the men their name. One say Costa, one say Yorgos, one say Dimitri, one other one says Telis, because they're all Greek. You understand Costa, Vicky, right? They're Greek like you. The Kyklopas asking Odysseus his name, and he not say Odysseus. He saying, my name is nobody.
Why did he say that?
You will see, Costa, because he's Greek and very smart. You will see soon. So then Odysseus saying, you have no wine to drink with your dinner, so here, take some wine. So he drinking it, and he say, okay, nobody, since you're giving me wine, I will let you last. So he left the cave, but he put a big rock in the door, so the men not leaving. So Odysseus saying to his men, don't worry, I have a plan because I am Greek and I'm very smart. So they're taking a big stick and make it very, very sharp at the end with their knives. Then the Kyklopas coming back and they're giving him more wine, lots of wine until he became drunk and sleepy. Then they're putting the sharp stick inside his one eye. He then woke up and yelled, why are you doing this to me? How did
they get out of the cave, Baba? Is this when they took the sheep?
Kyklopas moved the rock so the sheep could go outside, and all the men got under the sheep by their hairs. And they went outside with the sheep and getting in the boat. But while they left the island, Odysseus saying to Kyklopas, Kyklopas, when somebody asking you what happened to your eye, you say, Odysseus take it, not nobody. And then they left. Anyway, that is the story.
Caption on screen. Nor did these lotus eaters have any thought of destroying our companions, but they only gave them lotus to taste of. But any of them who ate the honey-sweet fruit of lotus was unwilling to take any message back or to go away, but they wanted to stay there with the lotus-eating people, feeding on lotus and forget the way home. Homer's Odyssey. Peterborough, downtown day, 2023. We open on a quaint downtown in a suburban city, panning around the various businesses as people come in and out of them. There are independent coffee shops, bars, and shops selling artisanal handmade products. There are used bookstores and restaurants. There are lots of anarchist youth intermingling with elderly ladies with tinted hair and burnt-out hippies milling about. The town is Peterborough, Ontario. The camera pans through Hunter Street to the Hunter Street Bridge. We see the Quaker factory. Passing the Quaker factory are Dean and John. Dean, mid-30s, thin, fit, dorky with glasses, but adorable. John, closer to 45, beautiful, kind-looking, but with a bit of a wry smile. Clearly, John is intelligent and charming. They are walking leisurely with their Great Pyrenees Stella. A teenager on a bicycle comes whizzing past and almost knocks Dean over.
Watch where you're going.
You, Sage. Sage.
Sorry, sir.
The camera follows the teenager who will soon be revealed as Dean at 17 years old. Lanky, dorky, with a soft guitar case on his back, he is dressed in all black with a hand-woven hippie necklace around his neck. He has a bunch of them and wears one at almost all times during this period of his life. This hasn't been fully revealed yet, but we're now in 2003. The camera continues to follow him on his bike down Burnham Street, Mariah Street, the Mr. Convenience, Video 99, Farmcrest, and then he arrives at a modest two-story suburban house, leans his bicycle against the garage door, and heads inside. Interior, Dean's living room, continuous. George Piedinatos, Dean's father, is sitting on a recliner watching television. There's Greek news playing, then hockey, then CNN, then the same Greek news, then Maury Povich, then more hockey. Hockey is currently on TV. The Ottawa Senators get a goal on the Leafs.
Gramata Panayasu, Gramata Panayasu. You don't know how to play Malakas.
He changes the channel. George Bush is on TV. He turns to young Dean.
You see this Malaka Costa? You see him? Worst president I ever see in my life. Gramata Panayasu.
Gore won that election. We all know it. George changes the channel as more Povich again.
You see these people, Costa? You see them? No one respecting these people. No be like these people. You are Piadinatos. We don't like these people.
Sage.
It is about the stupidity, Costa. The stupidity. Canadians and Americans, they don't know how to be. That is why you need to be proud to be a pure Greek.
He changes the channel again, back to Greek news. Now there is a speech from the Greek Prime Minister, Kostas Simitis. For no apparent reason, he leaps from the recliner and hits record on the VCR.
This is the real Prime Minister. You see, Costa? Socialista, taking care of the peoples.
Dean walks up the stairs. June, his mother, a kind-looking woman with a pronounced warmth to her, is cooking food.
Hi, Costa. How was school today?
Sage, hold on one second. I'm gonna pause the recording. I apologize. Resume the recording.
So from it was fine?
Yeah.
It was fine. What's for dinner tonight?
Pork chops, salad, and potatoes for everyone. But I was thinking I would make some of those frozen veggie burgers I got from Independent with the cheese and portobello's inside. Is that okay?
It's perfect.
I can't wait for you to give up this vegetarian thing.
It's been almost a year now.
I know, but you used to love meat so much.
I can take care of my own frozen veggie burger, but I probably won't eat it frozen.
Smart Alec.
My name is
The recording has stopped.
My name is not Alec, but thank you for calling me smart.
This meeting is being recorded.
My name is not Alec, but thank you for calling me smart. I'm telling you now, I will never outgrow being a vegetarian.
The veggie burger is already in the oven.
Veggie burger is already in the oven.
Costa, we're getting an echo with the recording or somebody's recording.
You know
I
what?
know.
It's because we have two instances of Sage as the issue.
Oh, sure. My name is not Alec, but thank you for calling me smart. And I'm telling you now, I will never outgrow being a vegetarian.
The veggie burger is already in the oven.
June gives him a loving pat on the back.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you sometimes.
Young Dean moves toward his room. He passes his younger sister Vicky's room, where she, a very typical popular girl, is sitting with her boyfriend, a very typically attractive popular guy a parent would approve of. Vicky is 15 years old. She is stroking her boyfriend's hair. She catches Dean noticing them.
Oh my God, don't be so weird.
As Dean walks further away, he can hear her speaking to her boyfriend in the background.
I'm so happy that he went to that weird art school. It would be so embarrassing if we went to the same school as me.
Dean enters his room and puts down his guitar case. He sits on the bed and uses the cordless landline to dial a number. The front of the Piedinatos home day. The same home, but the trees are larger. Adult Dean and John with Stella are walking up to the door. They walk in. George, now in his 70s, is sitting in the exact same recliner. He is playing videos on his phone.
Costa, you see this? This is the girl who won the singer show in Greece. You hear her now, she sings.
He flips to a different TikTok video. Donald Trump's voice can be heard from the phone.
Oh, you see this? This asshole is the worst president I've ever seen in my life. These Americans vote for him. Your aunties and uncles are fanatic for him, Costa. They're fanatics. I need to show you the snakes in Greece. They're coming every year to this church, same day. Did I show this to you, Costa?
Yes, you did. Last night when we got here. Remember?
Anyway, these are the snakes. Come see, Costa, come. You need to see the snakes. Nobody putting them here. They're just coming by themselves. See how nice they are to people? John, why are you so quiet? Nice to see you. Oh, Gamata.
Dean and John head upstairs. The kitchen, continuous. June, now in her 60s, is making dinner. The kitchen is brand new. Where a table was is now an island with stools, and all the cabinets have been updated. Dean sees a frame on the island with a changing photo. It flashes between pictures of Vicky, her husband, her kids, Dean and Vicky at various stages, and himself and John.
Hi, Costa.
Where'd you get this frame?
Vicky got it for me. Don't you love it?
That's very nice.
The picture flips to a photo of June, Dean, John, Vicky, her husband, and kids.
That was the last time we were all here together at the same time, and Dad wouldn't get in the picture with us.
I think he was self-conscious, still dirty from the restaurant. Are lamb shanks okay?
You know they're my favorite, Mom. Did you make them with that recipe from Nuna?
Yes, I didn't have any cumin, so it isn't exactly the same.
I'm sure they're delicious.
So many Greeks use so much cinnamon. I love the way Nuna cooks. Less is more sometimes.
It is, but I also love the way you cook. Can I help you with anything?
It's all under control. I am so glad you are both here. Just wish Vicky, Matt, and the kids were here too. At least I got to go visit them in Calgary so recently. You're going to love your new nephew. He is so perfect. It's been way too long since you visited.
She throws a little bit of meat at Stella.
She'll throw up if you feed her too much of that.
She comes to Grandma's house, she gets spoiled. It's that simple.
John got some really nice shirts with the gift card you gave him for his birthday. You want to see?
Yes, please.
Just a few nice graphic tees.
He pulls out a tee with Bob Ross's face on the pocket.
Is that the guy who used to do that painting show on TV?
Yes, Bob Ross.
As June and John continue their conversation, we follow Dean to the same bedroom as before. He opens the door and closes it behind him. Dean is on the bed with the phone. This is a continuation of the same scene as earlier.
All right. I will see you guys at Galaxy at 7. Dance Dance Revolution.
Dean enters the kitchen. Dinner is ready.
Hey, Mom. I'm going to go head to the Galaxy after dinner to meet some friends.
I feel like you never spend time in the house anymore.
What can I say? I have a social life.
Who's going to be there?
My friends,
Which friends?
Dave and Lisa.
All right. I'll give you a ride and I'll be there at 9:30 to pick you up.
It's almost 7 now.
You'd better be getting eating then if you want any time for video games. Nothing good ever happens after 9:30.
Galaxy Cinema, early evening, 2003. We find Dean, his friend Dave, who looks like he smells of patchouli, and his friend Lisa, who has fully embraced the most cliched aspects of 2003 fashion, right down to the glittery synthetic fabrics and thick boxy highlights at the arcade. They are playing Dance Dance Revolution.
I'm out of tokens. Hold on. I'm gonna go buy some more.
All right, you can get a few extra for me, could you? I'm out of cash. I'll get you back.
No, you won't, but that's okay. I've got it.
He starts moving very quickly towards the token vending machine, so quickly that he accidentally bumps into a young man. The young man is 19. He has dyed his hair an unnatural shade of bright red. The bridge of his nose is pierced, and he has lots of tattoos. His clothing is all vintage. This is Rage.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. You're here with Lisa, right? Playing DDR?
Yeah, and my friend Dave. I'm Dean.
Rage. It's a chosen name. I was watching you dance, if I can be so bold. You're pretty cute.
Why, thank you. So are you.
Full disclosure, I saw Lisa a little earlier at the concession stand and I asked about you. So, you go to PCVS?
Yes, arts program.
That's cool. I went there too. I'm at Trent now. Is Bob still teaching there?
Yeah, but I think he will retire after this year.
He's been saying that for years.
Lisa pops over to join them.
Oh, I see you two met. Rage was going on and on about your butt while you were dancing just now.
Lisa!
What? You were? Why play coy? Dean, you find Rage attractive, right?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I do. Is that a crime?
I wouldn't say so. So, you find me attractive, and I find you attractive. What you doing this weekend at Pride?
Finding a way to go without my parents knowing?
Just go and don't tell them. There's a jazz festival happening the same day. Say you're going there.
I'm gonna have to. It is the first ever Pride here. I have to be there. It's history.
All right. So I'll see you there. Once you ditch the jazz festival, of course.
He leans in and pecks Dean on the lips.
I hope that was okay.
Very okay.
Downtown Peterborough, day 2023. It is Peterborough Pride. We start on a wide shot of George Street downtown. The camera focuses in on a giant banner. Peterborough No-Go Jiwanan Pride 2023, celebrating 20 years of Pride. The camera pans through the parade and wanders until it finds Dean, John, and June sitting at a table outside a Mexican restaurant with margaritas. They are taking in the parade.
I never understood the need for gay pride. Never did. I used to say, if it is so normal, why is it necessary to tell everybody about it? I guess that is why it's necessary, huh? People still have to tell others. It's still a big deal for many.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Many kids still grow up feeling like there's no hope for them in 2023.
I think it is hard for a lot of people to unlearn what they were taught from birth. I wish we had a world that didn't need pride. I really do. But for now, I finally understand it. And I'm glad it exists.
Dean is silent as the camera focuses on him. June and John continue speaking, but it is not clear what they are saying. Dean is further and further in his head as he takes in the scene in front of him. They are all there as he remembered them. The Trent Queer Collective, Peterborough AIDS Resource Center, the Radical Anarchists, the Theater Queens. Suddenly, Dean spots a media camera taking pictures. He sees three young men walking hand in hand. In the center is Rage. To his left, some forgettable generic guy. And to his right, he sees himself at 17. As the camera continues to focus on young Dean with Rage and the other guy, we are now back in 2003. Young Dean addresses the photographer.
Please don't use that photograph. My parents can't know that I'm here.
I'm not looking to cause problems for anyone. I'll delete this photo and avoid you moving forward. I appreciate you letting me know.
I truly appreciate you understanding.
We're trying to cover the celebration, not create family drama. My brother is gay. My parents would have lost their minds if he had been here at your age. I have your back.
The photographer moves on. A gay man in his 60s approaches Dean. He has a pencil mustache and a dyed blonde perm, which may or may not be a hairpiece. He wears a shirt that says, come out, wherever you are. Harvey Milk. This is Bob, one of Dean's teachers.
Dean, Rage, I'm so glad you could make it.
Thank you, Bob. This is incredible. I love your shirt.
Oh, that's Harvey Milk. Do you know who he was?
No.
You need to learn your history, child. I may be able to teach drama, but The Ontario curriculum has a lot of holes in it. Start with Harvey Milk, though. Remember, our people would be nowhere today if those who came before us didn't risk it all.
Bob, I don't think I've seen you since graduation. How are you?
Oh, I'm having the greatest day of my life, thanks. Not only do I get to spend it with the first ever Pride Parade this town has had, but I get to see my students and former students able to be far more open than I was ever allowed to be. The world is changing, boys, and I feel so lucky to be here to see it. So many of my peers were lost, but they're here though too. I can feel them. They're all smiling down on us right now. Happy Pride, boys. Happy Pride.
Bob continues to move through the crowd. Dean kisses Rage. The camera pans out on a far smaller parade than the one zoomed in on. Protesters with signs that say Peterborough is for families, misspelled, are there, but not many. The banner this time is hand-painted. It says Peterborough's first annual Pride Parade. A butch lesbian with a bullhorn is leading the way on what looks like the best day of her life. The parade has come to its conclusion, and the lesbian leading the show starts to make her announcement.
All right, everyone, that's it. That's the parade. We encourage everyone to join us for a picnic at Del Carey Park now. There will be clowns and balloons for the kids. Later this evening, around 7 o'clock, there will also be a rainbow dance at the Only. The Only has also announced that they will, from now on, be hosting this dance every other Saturday night as the night that the entire community can gather and dance. It will be a 16+ event. IDs will be checked and minors will be given red wristbands with green wristbands being reserved for those who are 19+.
Rage disconnects his hand from the random guy and turns to Dean.
Let's go.
Dean and Rage slip away from the parade, still hand in hand. Exterior, an alley on Hunter Street, continuous. Dean and Rage make out in the alley for a bit. They continue walking through the alley. Exterior, an apartment above a store, continuous. Dean and Rage start climbing the stairs, barely able to stop making out to get up the stairs. Rage starts fumbling with keys. Interior, Rage's apartment, day. Rage's apartment is very typical of downtown Peterborough rental housing. An old build with very high ceilings, crown molding, and large ample windows. The paint throughout is chipping and dingy. The furniture an assortment of mismatched hand-me-downs. The walls covered in PETA posters with various vegan statements on them. Dean and Rage are in bed. They clearly just had sex. Dean is exploring Rage's body with his hand, running his fingers through the thick body hair and over the various tattoos.
You've been with guys before, right?
I had a boyfriend for a few months at one point. My mom found out and then wouldn't let me call him or take his calls. My Aunt Janet was living in Petersburg at the time, though, and she would let me call him from her apartment. It was really hard when she moved back to Calgary. The sneaking around was too much for James, my first boyfriend, though. He broke up with me pretty suddenly and unexpectedly, but yeah, I lost my virginity to him.
I hate that expression, lose my virginity. You're a sexual being who had sex. You didn't lose anything. You gained a new experience and an insight into yourself and what you enjoy. So much of how we discuss these things is so based in Puritan bullshit. So, was he the only one?
Yeah, I really like this guy at school, 2 years older than me. He graduated now. Huge crush. Christian Davis. He was out when I started and apparently never forgave me for.
Yeah, I remember Christian. Great singer, and he painted so beautifully. What'd you do?
In grade 9, there was a school assembly. A gay man had us all close our eyes as he painted a picture of a world where everyone was gay, except the kid in the audience, of course. It was to make us understand how it felt to grow. It was make us understand how it felt to grow up feeling you don't belong. Anyway, they took questions, and I actually asked him if he knew what the Bible said in Leviticus about a man lying with a man, and he lieth with a woman. He responded with, "Love thy neighbor." Of course, I was struggling to face myself. I came out a year later, and everyone was happy for me. I guess what I said really hurt Christian deep.
It can be so hard to unlearn and let go. You got where you needed to get.
I wish Christian felt that way. He was really hurt by what I said.
People are always going to get hurt along the way.
How long have you lived in this place?
Changing the subject, I see. About a year. I had a roommate, but she left last week.
Mainly trying to understand what you were taught. Where you come from, I guess. Your parents live in Peterborough?
They do. My mom's in the South End with her biker boyfriend and my little sister. My dad's in town too. We're close, talk a lot. Neither are very religious, and they both don't give a shit that I'm queer. They mainly just always kind of knew, I guess. What about you?
I live with my parents and my younger sister. My mom knows that I'm gay, but she doesn't accept it. She has forbidden me from telling my dad. Ever since I told my mother, she's made going out really difficult. She basically assumes that I'm lying about where I was going every time I leave the house.
Well, aren't you?
Sure, but she doesn't expressly know that.
Give her a little grace. She'll figure it out.
I love her a lot. I hope she does. I don't even want to think of how my father will react, though.
When it's time for him to know, he'll know. In the meantime, you're here with me.
So, you're a vegetarian?
Vegan?
Oh, okay. I'm a vegetarian.
So I guess you have no problem stealing honey from bees or raping cows for milk, huh?
I don't see it as rape.
What else is it? I mean, think about it. Farmers impregnates them against their will.
I never thought of it like that.
Most people don't. But once you do, it's hard not to see it that way.
Suppose you're right.
Do you know that all the male chicks that are born to egg farmers get shredded?
I didn't realize that.
It's true. PETA sent some people with hidden cameras to work at some of these farms. There's some seriously fucked up shit going on. If people only knew, I think everyone would be vegan.
I mean, I had no idea.
Well, it's important to know where to find these videos. There's some website I could give you to look at if you want.
I'd love to learn about this stuff.
I'll share some resources with you for sure. Anyways, what kind of movies are you into? We could put something on.
I love art house movies. I rent from Have You Seen Every Week?
Have you ever seen Sven Meyer's Alice?
No, never.
Oh my god. Well, we need to do something about that.
Rage's apartment, early evening. Rage and Dean are curled up on a sofa. They are watching Funkmeyer's Alice.
So how does all the taxidermy in the film fit in with the veganism?
I'm pretty sure it was already old taxidermy by the time it was made, so I'm all right with it.
Do you know that for sure?
I assume so. I mean, it was made in Soviet times, right? They used what they could find.
That makes sense.
I do go to that furrier place on Honor and run inside to tell the people working there that they're evil monsters whenever I walk by.
How do they react to that?
They threaten to call the cops, but pretty sure I'm getting to them.
You have no fear, do you?
I have nothing to lose. I'm out to save innocent animals. If I go to jail or get beaten up, that's the price I need to be willing to pay.
But don't you worry about how the world sees you?
I'm a faggot. They already see me as deviant. Might as well be deviant.
But don't you want to show them that that we are just like them, that we don't belong, that we belong here too?
We do belong here, but we aren't just like them, and we don't have to be. They need to respect us for who we are, not who they want us to be.
But we can find partnerships, adopt kids, live lives like they live, full lives. We don't have to be on the fringes. Things are changing.
But why do we need to want that? What's wrong with being queer and living on our own terms?
I guess I always just imagine myself with a family.
Family is what you make it. As queer people, we know the importance of chosen family.
Dean leans in and gives Rage a kiss.
Thank you.
For what?
For the best day of my life so far.
Interior, the only cafe evening. Rage and Dean are arriving at the Gordon Best for the dance. The only is a bar cafe covered from head to toe in images of counterculture icons: Oscar Wilde, Tennessee Williams, Nina Simone, Malcolm X, James Baldwin, etc. Behind the bar, a woman with tattoos, a sleeveless shirt, piercings everywhere, and armpit hairs serving drinks. Rage and Dean approach a bouncer. Rage shows ID and is given a green bracelet. Dean does not and is handed a red one. As Rage and Dean arrive, the space is full to the brim. Dave is there, dancing as though the only person in the room. The music is flowing through him like it is emanating from within. Drag queens are given a show on the stage.
So I guess I need to get the drinks since you've got the wristband mark of the youth.
I suppose so.
What'd you want?
A rum and coke, please.
I'll be right back.
Rage walks away toward the bar. Dave approaches Dean.
Looks like you and that guy from Galaxy are hitting it off.
I think I'm in love.
So where does your mother think you are?
At the movies with you and Lisa.
What are we seeing?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
So is she picking you up at the theater when it is over?
You've got it.
Do you want me to wait there with you to sell the story?
That would be very sweet of you, but you don't have to.
Does she still think I'm cis?
Yeah, but she won't let me hang out with anyone if she knows that they're queer in any way. When I started talking about my friend Dave and his girlfriend Lisa, I think she was just so excited that I had a straight male friend. I was afraid if I told her actually he's bisexual and trans, she wouldn't let me hang out with you.
You know that not having me wait with you because she might clock me as trans is problematic as fuck, right?
Oh, totally. I'm super aware of that. It is incredibly shitty.
I also know it is because you want to be allowed to hang out with me. I don't take it personally. I'll wait further away and won't say hi. I promise she won't clock me.
You know, you're incredible as you are, and she should be lucky enough to know you, right?
Your mother should be lucky enough to know you and your fabulous queer friends. It is her loss, not mine. Besides, it's kind of nice.
What is?
Okay, this will sound fucked up because you are being problematic as fuck. No excuses. But your mother is the first person I know who simply hears my name and thinks of me as the dude I am. Others accept me. Hell, my parents are great as is everyone else. Most people I know, though, met me with the wrong name and the wrong pronouns and the wrong clothes. They saw me find myself, even you. You knew me before I started transitioning publicly. It's kind of nice knowing there is at least one person who hears about Dave and always correctly pictures someone who was always a dude.
Outside the Galaxy Cinema, night. An older rusty Pontiac pulls up to the curb. June is driving. Dean says goodbye to Dave, who stays back and then Dean gets in the passenger seat.
How was the movie?
It was okay.
And how was Dave?
He's fine.
I just don't trust that kid. Why wouldn't he come to the car and meet me? Why wouldn't a friend want to meet his friend's parents?
He's a good friend.
Maybe, but there's something slippery about him. He and Lisa are a couple?
Yes.
How long's that been going on?
About a month.
And where's Lisa?
Your father came and picked her up already.
I see.
Interior, the Pianinatos living room, evening, 2023. June, John, and Dean are all there. So is June's sister, Bernadette, a woman in her early 70s at this point with large costume jewelries, a blouse, and a light cotton blazer. Stella is by Dean's side.
I heard rumors that the Democrats might replace Biden for the next election.
Well, that's great news, Aunt Bernadette. The only way the Democrats stand a chance is by replacing Biden.
Well, it won't matter who they run because Trump is coming back.
Maybe, if he can avoid prison.
That is a witch hunt. This is about bookkeeping. He did nothing wrong.
Well, I think that is for the legal system to decide.
Can you guys even say what it is you don't like about him?
Let's see, where do I start? He's morally repugnant, claimed hush money for a porn star as a business expense while married. He has no respect for anyone and is a hypocrite. Oh, and he hates people like me.
Well, I guess that is one more thing we can't talk about.
I think Stella needs a walk, doesn't she?
I think so. Stella, do you need a walk?
Beavermead Park Trail, evening, 2023. John, Dean, and Stella are walking through the park.
I don't understand how somebody could be so religiously Christian and support Trump.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
I hope I didn't offend her by leaving like that.
You didn't. My aunt loves you, by the way. I love her too. She was always very good to me growing up. When I moved to NYC, she used to send me $150 every single month to help me out for like the first 2 years. She's a good person.
I know that. I needed some air though.
So did I. Sean, I love you so much. I pinch myself every day. I never in a million years dreamed that I would be able to bring you here like this.
I love you too. What brings up this burst of love and sentimentality?
This town makes me sentimental. I fought so hard to leave this town, and yet when I come back to it, I see that it holds my story. Many years ago, when I was doing community theater here, one of my first directors and I were talking. I was working on a sentimental play called Pull String in the Dark. It was a classic central conflict is coming out boring story. I was writing about living with my parents, coming out to them, and I wanted the play to tell the story of how they came to acceptance. I figured that I would write those scenes, and they happen in real life. Somehow I knew I'd get to the acceptance scene and the play would end, and then I would be okay and all would be healed. If I could just write it, it would become reality, I suppose. It gave me a sense of control. Anyway, I was telling this director I had about my play. British guy who actually had the same first name as you. And he said to me, you need to wait until you're no longer living with them, and it has been around 20 years to tell that story effectively. I protested and said no to this. No, I protested and said, no, this is my story now. I want to write it. I want to write it while it is happening. He said, you can't document your life while you live it. One day, though, you will understand how to tell this story, and then you will tell it, but you can't be living this story when you do.
What do you think of what he said?
I understand it, I think. I mean, here we are today. My mother loves you. We are staying in the bedroom I grew up in. I think I thought there would be a straight line. I guess life doesn't work that way. I guess it is hard to know when the story is done, and I can tell it. I'm here, now 37 years old, with you, and with you, who is crazy enough to marry me. Somehow, though, I come here and I walk through this place, and it might as well be 2003. And I might as well be 17.
John comes closer and holds him from behind. They are very still. Dean kisses John. He wraps his arm around John's waist. He looks ahead and sees a bridge. It is rusted and old. It is a bridge for a train, but to its side is a pedestrian bicycle bridge. He is squarely focused on the bridge as he stares at it. Interior, the Piedinatos kitchen. Evening, 2003. Dean, Vicky, George, June, and Esme, a close family friend from Albania, are eating dinner.
So, I have some news.
What is it?
I didn't tell you the whole truth about why I took that trip to Albania. I've been chatting with this guy, Arben, online, who a family member introduced to me a few months back. The trip was to meet him. It was some major news.
Esme, did you get engaged?
Yes, I did. How did you figure this out?
You babysat us 5 days a week from the time I was 2 until I was too old for a babysitter. I can read you like a book. Hopefully you don't fight with this guy as much as you fought with me. I love you, big sister. This is amazing news.
Interior, Dean's bedroom, 2003. Dean is reading the Peterborough This Week newspaper. June enters without knocking first. Dean scrambles to place the newspaper under the blanket of the bed. June goes and grabs it. She reads to see what Dean was reading. June.
Peterborough gay and lesbian community triumphant after their first ever Pride Parade. Members of the gay and lesbian community of Peterborough may not have been numerous, but what they lacked in numbers, they made up for in pride.
She throws the paper across the room.
Is this what you want to be part of? Is this what you want, the gay and lesbian community? Community. This isn't community. This is not part of God's plan. God made you, Costa, and this is not part of his plan. You have a bright future. You have dreams. You want to do so many things. You love kids. You'd be an incredible father, Costa. No one respects these people. You are better than this. The Bible is clear. I clearly failed to raise you properly in the church. It's because we stopped going to church when we bought the diner. We never should have stopped. This is my fault.
This is who I am, Mom. It is who I am. I can't change it any more than I can change the color of my eyes. I love you. And I hope one day you can accept me. I hope that we can come to a time when you will be as excited to hear that I have someone in my life as you were to hear that Esme had someone in her life today.
I will tell you right now that I will never accept this. This will never be acceptable. Anyway, dinner is ready. The family is eating lamb. I made you a veggie burger.
He leaves the room. Dean is crying. He starts to throw some clothing into a bag. Outside of Dean's bedroom window night, Dean is climbing out the window. He moves through the backyard to the gate. He opens the gate. Dean gets his bike and takes off. The camera focuses on Dean's face, tears streaming down it as he pedals as fast as he can. Exterior, the street. A wider shot as we continue to follow Dean pedaling as though life depends on it. He starts riding through the street for a moment, but quickly veers into the woods where he connects with the Beavermead Trail. Exterior, the Beavermead Park Trail is continuous. Dean pedals for dear life. He comes across the same bridge older Dean was staring at earlier. It is pouring rain. He crosses the bridge on his bike. Tears are streaming down his face so hard he could drown in them. The rain is pouring so hard it is amazing his bike isn't stuck in the mud. Cut to Rage's front door, continuous. Dean, soaking wet, is standing at the door. Rage opens the door and sees him there.
I didn't know where else to go.
Cut to black. End of episode. So we're going right into it's 7:45, but does anybody have any thoughts that they want to discuss quickly before we move on? Anything that just felt really awkward or felt really good as actors?
It all sounds pretty good. It feels pretty good.
It moves, Costa. It really does.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions that I'll send you later just about some language. You're using some queer language that I'm not sure was used in
realizing,
203.
Yeah, even cis. I'm not even sure if they were using the word cis in 03. Like
No,
I have to really.
I don't think so.
They weren't.
Pardon?
They weren't using cis, unfortunately. It's a more recent term.
Yeah, and there's also I did a lot of research to find out if Dave would even have access to hormones. It's interesting because Dave was originally written based on someone in high school who I knew, but he was cis, and I feel like the character being trans unlocks so much of the story, but it also opens up a lot of research that I have to do to make it right. So
there is one thing, and it's more just like how I, as a young person, would say it. Instead of saying what is, I would say what's, or instead of saying it is, I would abbreviate to its. And I don't know if that's more of like a recent thing, but I would just, that's about it, just the abbreviation.
Well, I appreciate that. And I agree. It needs more contractions. And I appreciate you saying that. I want to be really, really considerate with people's time. So I want to go into episode 2 because I don't want to take more of people's time than is absolutely necessary, because this is a huge endeavor. All right, so we'll go into episode 2. Episode 2, Garlic. Do you mind reading the kids again, Ash?
I don't mind, but after that, I really have to go because I have to eat dinner. But I can read the kids.
Yeah, read the kids and then leave if you don't mind, because you're not in episode 2, right?
No, I don't think so.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ash.
No problem.
Voices are heard. Once again, father and boy. The screen remains black as they speak.
I'm so proud of you.
Baba, is that the guy who told us to get in his car?
Oh, him. It's my friend. I told him to tell you to get in the car to see what you would do. You said no. I told you never get in a car with strangers. You did it.
No strangers, and even if you know them, not if Baba didn't say to go with them. Never to get in a car with anyone if I don't feel safe.
Good boy. Exactly. Have to keep you from getting into cars where you're not safe.
But what if they took me?
Then I'll find you. I will always knowing where you are. I will always find you.
Caption on screen. Garlic keeps evil away. Or something like that. Yeah, Nikki. Probably. Exterior, outside Rage's apartment. Continuous. Dean is dripping wet. Rage kisses him and motions him to come inside. Rage's living room. Continuous. Rage has guests over eating dinner. There's a girl around Rage's age, Kelly, and a young man also around Rage's age, Tyler.
Hey guys, this is Dean.
Ah, so this is the famous Dean. I've heard a lot about you. My name's Kelly. I used to live here with Rage.
Ah, yes. Ray told me about you two.
I'm Tyler. I do a radio show on Trent Radio with Rage.
It's great to meet you both.
Did you want some dinner? I made vegan tacos.
Thank you. I'm actually starving.
Dean starts to prepare himself a plate in the kitchen. He can overhear Kelly speaking in the living room.
Oh, how long is he going to stay here?
Just until he finds a new place.
Be careful. If his family finds out he's staying here, they can make life pretty rough for you. Does he think you're his boyfriend?
I never told him I'm his boyfriend. And I never promised him anything.
But does he know that?
Interior of the kitchen. Continuous. Dean enters the room with the plate.
I'm not here to create trouble for anyone. I'll stay until I figure out my next move, if that's okay. I don't expect anything from anyone. If you would rather I would not be here, just say so.
No, I want you to stay. As long as you need to.
I don't think you're my boyfriend, for the record. I like you. I enjoy spending time with you, but we're just hanging out together. That's it. I know that. I don't plan to stay very long.
As I said, you're welcome here.
Rage's living room, later that same evening. Kelly is left. Rage, Tyler, and Dean are passing a joint around.
I hope you didn't take Kelly personally.
No, it was okay. I obviously know we aren't in love. I'm not stupid.
Why would it be stupid to think that?
Well, I mean, we just met.
I like you, Dean.
I like you too.
I don't do relationships, though. I tried that. I meant it, though. I'm glad you're here.
Rage had a really bad breakup a few months back.
But let's not get into that.
Fine. We won't. Rage has very nice things to say about you. Apparently, you are very hung.
Tyler, he just left his parents' house. It's a weird night for him. Don't be weird.
What? That's what you said. He also said you give the best blowjob he's ever had.
Really? He said that?
I did say that. I'm sorry. I just tell Tyler everything.
Don't be sorry. I'm flattered.
You're a good guy, Dean. Don't let anyone ever make you feel small. Now that Tyler has already made it weird, though, might as well give these to you. I bought them today for me, but I think they'd look better on you.
He grabs a pair of zebra print briefs from a bag on the floor and hands it to Dean.
Thank you.
Are you horrified? I thought these would look amazing on you.
No, thank you. They're great.
Why don't you try them on and show them to us? Only if you feel comfortable, of course.
What the hell?
Interior, Rage's living room, continuous. Dean emerges from the bathroom wearing nothing but the briefs.
Why don't you have a seat? Here on the sofa?
Dean looks at Rage.
If you want to. No stress either way. You can go get dressed if you prefer.
No, it's okay.
He moves toward the sofa. Rage kisses him. He then taps Tyler on the shoulder and Tyler kisses him. Dean is clearly uncomfortable in the situation, but wants to be comfortable. He wants to show Rage that he is adventurous like him. He wants to show Rage that he doesn't think they are boyfriends. The camera continues to zoom in on Dean's face as Tyler and Rage stroke his body. The camera is tight on Dean's face as the others continue to stroke his legs. Dean is completely inside his head. Interior, Rage's bedroom, day. It's the following morning. Tyler is gone. Rage and Dean are in bed. Dean gets up.
Was yesterday okay? I feel like that was kind of sprung on you.
No, it was fine. Tyler's really nice. I've never done anything like that before.
Okay, good. Just checking in. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. You didn't think we were boyfriends or in love, right?
No, I didn't. Of course not. That would be silly.
I just don't want anyone getting the wrong ideas. You're obviously welcome here. I really like you. I'm just not a boyfriend kind of guy. I hope that's okay.
I'm not a boyfriend kind of guy either.
I'm glad we had this chat. What are your plans for today?
I don't know. I really don't know. I suppose I have to figure out what I'm doing next.
I have to work today. Why don't you just hang out with some friends? Get out, exist.
I'm so afraid my parents are gonna see me.
Well, they're gonna see you sooner or later. You might as well get out there. They can't make you go back. You're 17. The law is on your side. If you stay in school, you can even get on student welfare to cover your housing and expenses. You can start your life.
My mother's a bad person. I guess she has to tell my dad why I left now.
I guess she does.
Interior, Lansdowne Place Mall, 2023, day. Dean, John, and June are sitting in the food court. They are eating Chinese food.
Can't believe how much this mall has changed. I wouldn't even recognize it if I know where it was.
I don't come here nearly as often as I used to.
I guess back in the day, it was one of the only places to get out of the house.
Remember how many hours you'd spend in the bookstore on the second floor as a kid?
I do.
John, we could not get this boy out of the bookstore. And then when we'd get him home, he'd spend all night in his room reading. It was like he was avoiding us.
Well, I was.
Oh, that hurts my heart. I wish I had handled things differently. I know I wasn't always perfect. I did the best I could with how I was raised.
I love you, Mom. I appreciate you. If I could do it over with a different mother, I wouldn't.
Dean looks at another table in the food court where teenagers are hanging out. Suddenly, he sees himself, Dave, and Lisa sitting there. It is 2003. The camera continues to focus in on Lisa, Dave, and Dean.
So you aren't going back?
I don't think so.
What about food, housing?
I have to figure that out too. I can't go back there. My father has to know by now. I can't face him after leaving like that.
I'm heading to my grandparents' place for dinner with my folks tonight. Do you want to come along?
I would love to.
Interior, Lisa's grandparents' living room, night. Lisa, her parents, mom and dad, and her grandparents, grandma and grandpa, and Dean are all there. Her family is very white collar, very intellectual. They are playing Trivial Pursuit.
Which came first, checkers or chess?
I know this one. I know this one.
That is fine, but it isn't your turn. Dean, do you know the answer?
I want to guess checkers? I think it comes from ancient China, no?
You are thinking of Chinese checkers. That's different.
Oh, right. You're so right. I guess that means my turn is done?
It does. Dean, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you staying somewhere safe?
I'm with my boyfriend. I'm definitely safe. It is exactly where I want to be.
Are you sure? You could stay with us if you need to. It's okay.
I'm fine, I promise.
Well, the offer's on the table. I'm sorry your parents can't accept you for you, but you mean a lot to Lisa, and I want you to know that you can always stay with us.
I appreciate that a lot. Whose turn's next?
Exterior, in front of Rage's apartment, night. A black Lexus pulls up to the curb. Lisa's dad is driving. Dean opens the door. Lisa's mom is in the passenger seat.
Dean,
Yes?
you'll come stay with us if you need to, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Dean walks to the door. He unlocks it. Interior, Rage's apartment, continuous. Dean steps inside. Rage is collapsed on the bed. There's half a joint in the ashtray next to the bed. Dean picks it up and lights it. He heads to the kitchen and finds himself a beer. He stares into space. Interior, Pia Di Nato's family home, Dean's childhood bedroom, night, 2023. Dean and John are spooning in the bed. Stella is curled up by their feet. We zoom in on Dean's face. He is awake. He has a look of bliss about him. He's exactly where he wants to be.
I promise you, you'll be okay. Life has a lot of joy for you. Life has a lot of joy for you still.
Interior, Rage's kitchen, 2003. Dean is still smoking the joint fragment. A voice can be heard softly. It is Dean's voice in 2023.
I promise you, you'll be okay. Life has a lot of joy for you still.
I sure hope you're right.
Interior, Rage's apartment, continuous, 2003. Older Dean is in the room. He holds younger Dean's hand. Together, they put out the joint. Younger Dean crawls into bed. The camera zooms in on his face. The tears are streaming. Interior, Dean's bedroom, 2023. Zoom in on Dean's face, the same tears streaming, the two versions connected. While older Dean is being held in a spoon by John, younger Dean is being held in a spoon by older Dean. Interior, Pia Di Nato's kitchen, 2023, night. Dean, John, and June are chatting in the kitchen.
Sorry, got a little weepy. That was a fun day. Can't believe it took me 63 years to see a pride parade. Must admit, it was a lot more wholesome than I imagined it would be.
There were people waving giant dildos, June.
That I could have done without, but what I mean is it was just people feeling safe to just be for the first time in their lives.
Oh, speaking of dildos, we should show your mother everything everywhere all at once.
Oh.
Yes, she'd love it. Let's find it online. I think it is on one of the streaming services we have by now, or we can rent it.
George walks into the room. He starts rifling around the cupboards.
June, where is the garlic? Do we have any garlic anywhere?
It would be in that cupboard. We must be out of it.
How come we always out of garlic? I don't understand.
He leaves the room confused.
He has eaten 2 cloves of garlic every night before bed since we met, because it's supposed to make him live forever. Needless to say, I hide the garlic.
Interior, the Pia Di Nato's kitchen, 2003. George and June are at the table.
Where is the garlic? Did you buy garlic?
George, stop looking for garlic for a second and sit down.
What is it?
Costa left.
What do you mean? He went to a friend's house?
He and I had a fight. He took his stuff and he left the house.
Where did he go?
I don't know. I called Dave and Lisa. They both say they don't know where he is.
But why did he go? What happened?
Interior, George's car, night. George is driving around downtown Peterborough very slowly. It is pouring rain, the same pouring rain Dean walked through when he left. George is crying. He pulls over. Subtitles. My son is not a faggot. My son is not a faggot. He composes himself. He continues to slowly drive through town. He spots Dean's bicycle leaning against a building. He notes the address on a scrap of paper.
Maria, mitera tu seut. Tiekana gina to ksizoftu, tiekana.
Subtitle, Mary, Mother of God. What did I do to deserve this? He continues to drive through the rain. Interior, PCVS High School, Miss Aiken's art classroom, 2003, day. Dean is seated at a table. Class has just started. The teacher, Miss Aiken, warm maternal figure, exudes kindness.
So that is why it is so crucial to apply the glaze at the right temperature. But do you see how manipulating the temperature when you apply the glaze can open possibilities? Remember, sometimes it won't work out exactly as you expected, but that is the beauty of ceramics. It is a conversation between your intent and what happens. Ceramics to a large extent are about letting go of control.
The PA system buzzes. Miss Aiken goes to answer it.
Yes?
Can you please send Dean Piednatos to the guidance counselor?
Yes, straight away.
Thank you.
Dean rises. He moves toward the door. As he approaches Miss Aiken, she comes to him and whispers in his ear.
I am proud of you. Thank you for sharing what happened with me this morning. If your parents are here, hold strong. You do not need to do anything unless you want to.
Thank you.
Interior, guidance office, continuous. George and June are seated with the guidance counselor, Mr. Bates, a stern-looking man of around 30. Dean walks in. So I assume you know why we are here?
Yes, I do.
So I already explained to your parents that at 17, we can't force you to go back to the province of Ontario. It's entirely your choice. Having said that, you think about income, housing, anything.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? You trying to hurt me?
Mr. Piedinatos, I need you to wait until it's your turn to speak.
Who the hell you think you're telling me my son can go if he wants to go? What happens if it's your kid?
I admit, if it were my kid, I would be very upset too.
My son is not a fool. People say, how many kids do you have? I say 2, a boy and a girl. Now that what I'm supposed to say? A girl and a fucking gay? No.
I want to reiterate to you, Dean, you do not need to go with them. There are programs in place to help cover your costs so you can stay in school. We can help you navigate those.
What do you think you are telling my son that?
Dean, do you want to speak to your parents right now?
No, I don't.
In that case, I think this meeting is done. Dean, why don't you return to class? I'll continue to speak with your parents about their rights in this situation. Dean leaves the room. George can be heard through the door. He is yelling at high volume as Dean walks away.
Who the hell do you think you are? Fucking asshole!
Exterior, the Spill Cafe, day. A typical coffee shop bar in a college town. Dean and Dave are walking in. Interior, the Spill, continuous. The Spill is exposed red brick and red painted detail. At the back is a record sale section. At the front is a makeshift stage by a window. There are posters everywhere for local music shows, and the vibe is decidedly anarchist. Dean and Rage spot Lloyd, the owner, behind the bar. Clearly, he is a musician first.
Dean, Dave, how are you guys?
I'm all right. I left my parents' house, though.
You what?
I left.
That's really heavy. Are you going to be all right?
I'll survive.
Is it because they're being shitty about... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Is it because they're being shitty about you being gay?
I mean, mostly, yeah.
If you were my kid, I would be so proud of you. I would be like, my son is the coolest faggot I know.
But yet you would still call me a faggot?
I love faggots. It isn't an insult.
You are one of the one straight men I know who could say that without insulting me.
Your parents don't know what they're missing. Grilled veggie sandwich?
Could you? No salad, though.
Because it costs extra?
Yeah.
I will toss your salad for you. I've got your lunch today. I imagine you don't have income right now?
I still have a little money. I used to work at my parents' diner, so I did have an income, but yeah, I have to sort that out. I'm gonna be pretty broke pretty fast.
Be discreet about it in front of others, but if you are hungry, never skip a meal. If I am open, yeah, be discreet about it in front of the others. But if you are are hungry, never skip a meal if I'm open. Got it?
Why would you do that for me?
Because you're a good kid, and I really want to see you be all right. Again, though, don't tell anyone and hand me your debit card so I can pretend to run it if others are here. Got it?
Thank you, Lloyd.
Exterior, a fancy spa where the spill used to be. Day 2023. Dean and John are walking by and Dean suddenly stops.
Did I ever mention the spill to you?
Is that the coffee shop with all the indie music you used to love?
Yeah. Anyway, it was here.
Oh, this shop looks pretty bougie.
I don't know where Lloyd is these days, but if he is still in town, he likely loathes it.
Dean looks across the street and up and sees an apartment building with a sign that says vacancies. The same building, day 2003. Dean and Dave are walking in the building with the landlord. Interior, an empty apartment, day 2003. Dean is there with Dave and a landlord. The landlord is very corporate. So Bradley.
Sorry, I couldn't get my mic turned on.
No worries.
My apologies. I'm still dazed by technology. So I have to ask, you're only 17?
Yes.
So you have income to pay rent here?
I'm going on student welfare. I understand you can't deny me the apartment for saying that.
No, but you are sure you can't stay with your parents? Piednatos. Are you related to Steve Piednatos?
How do you know my uncle?
I'm his property manager. He owns half the apartments in this town.
Please don't tell him I was here. Whatever you do.
Why?
My parents can't know where I am.
I think you should take a long, hard look at your life, kid.
Exterior, Rage's apartment, day. Dean approaches the door. George pulls up next to him.
Costa, get in the car.
No, Dad.
I said get in the car.
I don't have to. How'd you find me anyway?
I know everything, Costa. Nothing happens in this life that I don't know. Get in the car.
No.
Don't make me.
Make you what, Dad? Make you what? Get the belt like you did that time I joined knitting club and brought my knitting home? Shame me for making you spend money on a ticket when I was barely even in the play. Yell at Aunt Jeanette for making me a Peter Pan costume that looked like ladies' leggings. When I don't get into your car, Dad, what is it you're going to make you do this time? I would love to know what I'm going to make you do.
You're trying to hurt me? Everything I'm doing in life, I'm doing for your sister and you. I came to this country with nothing. I wanted you to be successful, never asked for anything, ever. You wanted to do karate, I paid for lesson. You wanted to do arts program, I letting you. Now they're putting ideas in your head, Costa. Ideas in your head. Stupidity. The Canadian stupidity. This is never going to happen if I stay in Greece, marry a Greek woman. It is this stupid country and this stupid art school putting ideas into your head. No Piadinatos man is going to be a gay. We don't have that in our family, understand? George Piadinatos is never going to have a gay. It's never going to happen, Costa.
Please leave me before I go inside and call the police.
Dean walks away and climbs the stairs to the apartment. He stops. He gathers himself.
Except I didn't say any of that. I got in the car. I feared so much he would take me back, but he didn't. He let me out again, but I got in the car. That isn't what I said.
Interior, Dean's bedroom, 2023. Dean in bed wakes up and speaks.
But it is what you wanted to say. It is what you needed to say. Instead, you were quiet and you got in the car.
Exterior, the stairs outside Rage's apartment, continuous, 2003. Dean stands there shaking. He unlocks the door. George watches him for a moment and then drives off. Interior, Rage's apartment, continuous. Rage is painting the spare room. Dean approaches him in tears. Rage holds him for a moment.
I'm sorry. If you're staying here, though, If you're staying here though with me, we're gonna need a proper living room, aren't we? I figured we could finish painting this room, and then I rented Dogville by Lars von Trier's. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
Oh my god, you will love it. Grab a roller so we can finish this room and then watch it.
Dean smiles. He grabs a roller. They continue painting. Interior, Rage's apartment, day. Dean walks in and finds Rage at the kitchen table with his mother, Anne. Anne has fried yellow hair and a smoker's cough. She's relatively young, but looks like she's very hard-lived. Her clothing is very pink and youthful.
This is my mother, Anne. Mom, Dean.
Hi, Anne.
So, this is the famous Dean. Pleasure. Nathaniel has been talking about you.
He has? Wait, Nathaniel?
Of course I have. And yes, keep that one close to the chest, please.
I don't understand why you can't just use the name I gave you. What is rage, anyway?
It's about my rage at the system subjugating the masses.
I suppose there is a lot in this world to feel rage about. Might as well put it out there. Nathaniel just bailed me out of jail, and I'm not allowed to go home because it was a domestic dispute. I'll be spending the night. I hope you don't mind.
Of course, without question.
You mind if we give Mom the bed and take the sofa bed?
Of course not. Not at all. I really like you. I really like your son, Anne. He's a really good guy. I'm sorry you had such a rough day.
He turned out all right, if I do say so myself. Even if he is full of rage. I'm so embarrassed meeting you like this. Would have preferred better circumstances. Nathaniel, do you mind if I smoke?
It's okay, Mom.
Anne lights a cigarette. Rage finds her an ashtray.
Don't be embarrassed. It's really amazing to meet Rage's mother.
I am not a mess, you know.
I never said you were.
Everyone thinks I'm a mess. They look at me and they judge me. I do my best in life. Of course, I look a mess right now, but this isn't how I want you to think about me. I'm a good mother.
I do not look at you and see a mess. I see a woman who had a really rough day and could use a beer. I'm pretty sure there's some in the fridge. You raised Rage and he is a great guy. You're obviously a great mother.
Okay, Nathaniel, keep this one. So much better than that other idiot.
Dean is a pretty cool guy. I'm glad to have met him.
Dean goes and gets a beer for Anne, himself, and Rage. He opens them and sets them down.
Dean, Rach told me about your parents. Please don't be too hard on them. Parenting isn't easy. And we're all just doing our best. We're dealing with our own shit as people, and sometimes we don't know what to say or how to behave. Obviously, you deserve to be respected. You're gay, and that is who you are. I hope you hold your ground. At the same time, though, I hope you understand that just because they don't get it yet doesn't mean they don't love you. Protect your heart, but at the same time, be open to the fact that how things are now is no indication of how they'll be tomorrow. Got it?
Interior, Piedinatos house, night, 2023. George is on his recliner and Dean and John are on the sofa. George is playing old family videos on the TV.
Who's that?
Oh, that was Carl. He lived here for around a year when Costa was 6. His wife kicked him out and he had nowhere to go.
Oh, so you let him stay here. That's nice of you.
We don't let people have nowhere to go. We have a basement. He needed a place. We had food. He was hungry. That is how life should be. John, how is your father?
He's good.
It was really nice when you brought him here. You should bring him back sometime.
Exterior, downtown Peterborough, Service Ontario building, day, 2003. Dean approaches the building, walks inside. Interior, Service Ontario building, continuous. Dean approaches the counter.
Do you know where the Ontario Work Association is?
Through there and to your right.
Thank you.
Interior, an orientation room, continuous. Several people are gathered in the room. They come from all walks of life. A video is being played explaining the Ontario welfare process. A woman comes into the room. She taps Dean on the shoulder.
Dean Pietinatos,
Yes?
follow me. You have an urgent phone call from your school.
Interior, a small office somewhere in the Service Ontario building, continuous. Dean sits at the desk and picks up the phone.
Yes, I understand. Okay. Yeah. I'll be there. I'll be right there.
Fade to black. End of episode. So that's the first two.
That's really good, Costa.
Thank you.
And Andreas, if I close my eyes, I would think you were my brother-in-law.
It's creepy. It's creepy, Andres.
It's really, really fucking creepy.
I was gonna say, yeah, I also from like a Mediterranean family, and I definitely felt like the familiar presence, like the way that you wrote George is like someone that I know in my own life, like my grandfather, very, very similar, very natural.
Thank you. Andreas does a really good job with it. Unfortunately, we only have Andreas for 3 nights. We don't have Andreas for Thursday, so we're gonna have to find a George for Thursday night. But yeah, I agree. You're doing a really great job with that role.
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
But everybody,
unless I guess it's a big cast, so I don't know if everybody will be available to do it earlier, but probably not. It's just too many people.
yeah, I think changing the time is going to be too difficult with the amount of people involved. But
Excuse me, Constantine.
Pardon?
I said, excuse me, Constantine.
Yes.
If you need me to read for George, Thursday. What is the date? Thursday night.
It's the 3rd.
If you need me to read for George, I can read for George.
Beautiful.
I think
Thank you, Tony.
I think I'm reading on the 3rd anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can read if you want.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate
it.
That.
It won't be as good as Andreas, but
well, I mean,
don't say that, Tony. You never know until you try. Thank you, Tony.
But honestly, everybody was so perfect in these roles. And a big part of what I'm trying to do with this is disconnect it from the people who inspired them. And then you've got like, so it's really cool to be able to do that. And I really appreciate all of you being here and helping with this. I don't want to be greedy with your time, but if there's anything you want to say or feelings that you had about the text or the characters.
So you made me cry a lot.
Okay.
I was around when this was happening, and I am so proud of you for capturing your moments.
Thank you.
I can't say anymore. This is fucking awesome. You're the best.
I think I was the first one that you came out to in the family, wasn't I?
The first one who was at Aunt Heather, but yeah, you were the first one who I was actually related to.
What is the relationship?
So my mother's not Greek. I'm half Greek, half Mennonite, and that comes into the script later. And on my Mennonite side, the Malikos side is the Greek side, and the Mennonite side is the harder side. And my Uncle Bradley is my mother's youngest brother.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I worked with Jim as a teenager, well before Costa was even a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah.
My little Pulaki move.
But for those of you who have read the whole thing, Uncle Byron shows up a little later. That's my uncle. That's him, right there. But
June, you did a great job with Julie, June.
Tracy, he's saying you did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
With my sister, I could hear her and you as well.
Yeah,
I do remember meeting them many times and eating at the restaurant many times. So
what I'm not looking forward to is when I've actually got a draft. I'm already working on trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this script next, and I'm just at some point I'm going to have to tell them this script exists. So that's going to be a fun
Okay,
moment.
I was going to ask that because if I end up seeing, if I go to the restaurant and they're there, I can't say, hey, I've been reading the script. Okay.
No.
I
It's
almost
gonna,
spilled the beans at the family Zoom night the other night. I was bragging about what a great script it was I was reading.
So it's funny.
And then
Anyway, as I said, it's not all literal.
maybe
It
you
didn't
don't
all
know
happen
about it for a
exactly like
reason.
that. It's not like, but yeah.
Oops.
I'm going to take my leave. See you folks tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. I don't want to take any
I
more
love you.
people's time than they want to.
I
So like,
love you, Costa.
Anyway,
I'll see
I
you
think
tomorrow.
this is it for me, so I'm going to thank you very much
thank you for
for asking
participating,
me to
Candy,
do
and I
this,
will.
and thank you to everybody who was reading tonight.
Yeah, thank you all.
It was
Lovely.
It's
great.
so amazing because I've got people I went to, like I've got people who have been in my life my whole life. I've got people that I found through casting websites. I've got people who I went to acting school with. Andreas I knew from hanging out in New York. Like it's really
Oh,
cool to have all these people.
we met like once, right? Like 15 years ago at that.
Yeah, we were in the
music
same music video and we were chatting, and you were the only. It was the first time I ever met another gay Greek who was actually from Greece, and I was just like, oh my god. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all. I'll see some of you tomorrow.
Yeah, I wish you all the best with this.
Thank you.
I really think it has legs.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
night, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Pleasant night. Cheers.
Hi.
Bye-bye.